Good morning, good morning, good morning. I have been wanting to make this video for a very long time because I'm excited. My book is out and I want to break down, it's my cat if you can't hear her. I wanted to break down the ins and outs of getting a book published, like by yourself. A lot of people have questions on this. A lot of people have messaged me like, how do you get all your followers? How did you strategize your book? How did you get the money to pay for such a thing? How did you get a publisher? How did you market it? How did you find a team to do your advertising? And I want to tell you my secrets. I did it by myself. That's how you did it. That's how I did it. Also, I just woke up and I threw some makeup on and I haven't had my coffee yet. So big old cup of coffee. My book is out and it looks so freaking beautiful. I just can't even understand how something can be made from nothing into something so pretty. First things first though. So we're gonna talk about, oh man, let's just go back to the beginning. How do you write a book? You have to have a topic first. Sorry, my room is not soundproof. You have to have a topic first, right? So what do you want to write about? Do you have a novel that you just are dying to write? Do you have a story that you're wanting to tell? Mine comes from a little bit of a different place. So some of you may not be able to relate to this, and that's okay. Mine comes from a mindset of wanting to help people. So I know some of you don't really get into the self-help realm or genre of books. Hold on, guys. There is a hair. You all women know this. There's a hair on me and I can't figure out where it's coming from and it's driving me nuts. So self-help genre, it's hit or miss, right? You either love it or you hate it. I read a lot of self-help books because I have a lot of self-help that needs to be done. I'm a messed up individual. I have a lot of issues in life. My issue with self-help books on the market is that I suck at reading, okay? I have a learning disability. I have dyslexia. ADD is not even ADHD at this point. It's way worse. I can't focus on books. So my problem with self-help books is I get started, I get excited with them, and then I start, and then I just can't focus, so I don't even get through the first 2 chapters, okay? That's legit. I wanted to come out with a book that could help people, but not be so step 1, step 2, step 3, that you're cured. That's not realistic, and I feel like a lot of books are like that. Now, if they help you, disclaimer, that's cool, but they just didn't help me, okay? So I wanted something more real. I wanted something more raw. And when I went through my divorce a couple years ago, I took to writing and blogging. And really, in all honesty, I didn't know I was gonna write a fucking book. Y'all know I cuss. I always had this like bucket list goal since I was like in high school to write a book, but really it was just to be like, hey, I wrote a book, that'd be cool. Like it would be cool to say. So I took to writing, and with taking to writing, I found that a lot of people took to that writing and found comfort in my words. And that was weird for me because I'm not used to that, okay? I just got my thoughts out of my head because it's very therapeutic to get them from here to a piece of paper or a computer. Little did I know that people were gonna catch on, okay? People caught on, they liked what I wrote. I had numerous people say, have you ever thought about writing a book? Have you ever thought about turning your words into something? When you write like you speak. So like I can pay attention to your words and I don't have a problem reading it. And right then and there, a light bulb went off thinking, well, God, if there's a lot of people who think like I do and have ADD and can't focus on reading but want help, this might be the solution. Now, as far as gaining a following, it's hard, man. Social media is like a job within itself. And I'm not talking no part-time job. I ain't even talking no 40-hour-a-week job. This is like full-time salary, 80 hours a week. You don't get a choice job. Now, I did have the benefit of having a page already. It's not that big in the grand scheme of things, but in my little mind, coming from little small town Iowa, my page has way more people than my little town had. Okay, in fact, it's kind of a running joke right now. I sold more books than the people in my town. So I had a business a while ago. I owned my own clothing line. It kind of went like semi-viral in a sense. I don't want to say viral because like it didn't go viral, but it blew up fast. Okay, it blew up fast. I had a mission to make every woman feel comfortable in their own skin. I carried every size. We had that mission. Okay, everybody caught on to that, and then I had to shut it down. I had to shut it down because of some personal issues that were happening within my divorce. I had to shut it down with personal issues that were happening with another job that I did on the side. I had to shut it down, okay? Plus, I'm not gonna lie, I was killing myself. I couldn't do business on top of a business, plus live a life and be married. I just couldn't do it. So we had to shut it down. People were very sad about that. I understand. But the people who followed me on that page, they didn't follow for the clothes. They can get clothes anywhere. They can get these clothes anywhere. They followed me because of the mission that we had. And they followed me because of the mindset that every other woman who watched those shows and that website had. And that's why they followed me, because it was a true womanhood. It was a movement, and it was a movement with a lot of force and a lot of power, and I didn't realize that right away until I shut that page down. And so why I kept that page open, as I shut the business down, but I kept the page open. Why I kept that page open, I turned it into my blog. And I did that because that's why those people were there from the get-go. So I had this page of 60,000 people who were now reading my blogs. When I say social media is hard, some people tend to think, well, you had your page handed to you, that's why your book did good. No, that page was hard to build, okay? I built it a couple years ago. And I built it just like you might build your page for your book or your page for your business. We all start at zero. We all start at zero. So you do have to work to get those followers. You do have to find your in, you know. My in was talking about women's body issues and opening up about mental health and just being open and being honest and not having this filter, you know, just being me, because people like real. People can relate to real because it is real and it's relatable, and that's what people grasp. And so when I did start to write, people really, really latched onto that. At some point after I was going through my divorce and I left and got my own house and went out on my own. Pause, coffee break. It's really hot coffee. After I did all that, there was a point where I said to myself, I kind of think that it would be cool to write this book. I just didn't really tell that many people because it's kind of like, oh, Megan's crazy again. Megan's got a crazy idea again. Just let her be. So I went to a family wedding and I talked to my cousin, and one of my cousins that I confide in a lot, and I was like, you know, like shit's going down. I'm having a good time writing. I kind of want to write a book. And she told me, she looked at me and she said, you need to write a book, and I'm going to be the first person to buy it, because you can reach so many women and you can reach so many people, and not just reach, but you can help. And so you should, because you have a voice and you need to be that voice. And then she said she'd be the first person to buy it. 5 months later, she passed away in a tragic car accident. Hold on, guys. 5 months later, she passed away in a tragic car accident, and she's not here to witness the book. And so I told myself that after she passed away in November of 2019, I told myself that I'm gonna do it. That was my courage. That was my motivation. I was going to do it, and I was going to make her proud. So I set a goal in place, and I just kept writing. And you can see in my book, you can pinpoint where this transition period is. You can read it and you might get some awesome words of wisdom out of it, but the cool thing about reading it is literally a collection of blogs. So you literally don't just read a story, you read someone's life, and you go through the periods of those highs And then you go to those periods of lows, and you go through those emotions with the writer while they're happening. And I just think that that's such an interesting concept because you don't see that in other books. So those of you who have read or are reading my book, you'll probably pinpoint where that is and where that transition is, because when she passed away, I started getting really, really fucking serious about this. You know, if I'm gonna do this, I have to do this right, and I'm not gonna bullshit my way through this. I'm gonna help people, so I need to tell my fucking story. So I got really raw, I got really honest, I went through punches, I went through some things that I don't like to talk about. Sorry, Grandma, but you're gonna have to read some things you probably don't wanna read. I started writing things about abuse, and I started writing things about being forced into doing something that I never wanted to do. And I started writing about getting belittled and bullied all my life. And I wrote about the narcissism that was happening and the gaslighting and how I just felt so beat down as a human. So that's where this book really came from. When I say that you have to find what you want to write about, that was what I wanted to write about, because then it all came full circle for me. It came full circle because suddenly all of these people that were following me, they latched on because I was real and I was raw and I told the truth about a lot of things. I wouldn't have done them any favors if I wouldn't have told my story, because that's not who I am. I have to tell my truth. I have to tell my story. I have to help people who are in situations like mine who need to get out. And that was my motivation. And so when my cousin passed away, I told myself that I'm just going to do it. And I did it. So I wrote about my divorce. I wrote about the abuse that I suffered. I wrote about the mental clusterfuck that I went through all my life. And I put it on paper. And I decided I'm gonna make a book. So I kept prepping my people, like, okay, I've decided I'm gonna write a book. And people got excited with me. I'm gonna write a book. They got excited. They told their friends, they got excited. And then months and months went by. People kept following my blog, whatever. In May, I got the last chapter finished. And I told myself that now that it's finished, I have a goal to have it out by the end of the year, to have it published by the end of the year. So I was giving myself from May until December. Now, let's talk about publishing for a hot minute. You can go a bunch of different ways. You can put your book out there and hope that a publisher comes to you. You could reach out to publishers. You could have an in. You could have a contact. Make contacts. You know, if you know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, use that to your advantage. Now, I didn't know anybody, but that's not the point. There's different routes you can go with this. You can go publishing. You can get a publisher. You can reach out to publishers. You can put your book out there, hope a publisher comes to you. There's a little known thing out there, though, called self-publishing, and a lot of people don't know what that is. There's different routes that I could have went with my book. I could have went the publisher route. I could have put my book out there, hoping a publisher came to me. I actually did, in fact, reach out to publishers who wanted my manuscripts. That was fine. That was great. I felt good. I was like, man, yes, people already want it. This is perfect. But what I didn't want to do, and this was a very big thing for me. Hold on. What I didn't want to do is have my book be published and then lose my voice. And what I mean by that is I wanted to keep this blog format book because it was important to me, because it's easy to read. It's easy to read because it's conversational. And I didn't want to lose that. I didn't want a publisher to take it and be like, wow, yeah, this is great stuff, but it's very amateur. We can't publish this, but let's edit it and make it so that we can publish this. You know, it could have sold 18 bazillion copies. I could have been the next Rachel Hollis. Like, I had people telling me that. But that's not worth it to me. What's worth it to me is having my book be conversational so every single person can read it and get something from it. So I decided to go the self-publishing route. Even with self-publishing, there's such a realm of knowledge and education material out there that you can do with self-publishing. You could go, and I'm not even joking, guys, it's easier than you think. You can go on Amazon and publish a book right now. You can do, Amazon has a publishing, like self-publishing company that they work with, that you can literally upload your book, done, put it on Amazon, you're good, sell it. What I will tell you is, after doing research and kind of trying everything out and ordering some self-published books from Amazon, I didn't really love it. It looked very amateur to me. And I was like, well, if I'm really going to do this, I actually do want to do it right. Like, I want it to be mine. I want it to be my voice, but I still want to make it look professional, and I still want to have a book. I don't just want you to open a piece of paper and be like, okay, this is just a bunch of crap. That doesn't even look good. It's not designed well. It's not formatted. I didn't want that. I still wanted it to be as professional as possible. So, sorry, this is getting long. So I went the route of a self-publishing company called BookBaby. It's everything that you need as a self-publisher, but people do your shit for you. And that's the easiest way to put it, okay? It's the awesome part of self-publishing with the convenience of not having to do anything. Because I will tell you, the one thing that I really was turned off by Amazon, other than like how things were looking as far as their printing, was it was really complicated to figure out. Now, I like to think that I have a lot of knowledge in the tech world, but this was beyond my realm. Like, it was too, I couldn't figure it out. You had to go like apply for the barcodes for it. You had to get it formatted in certain specific ways to fit the book versus the ebook. Then you had to go get the ebook done a different way. Then you had to have somebody design the formatting in the inside. If you didn't want to do that, it would look stupid. Then you had to have someone design the outside and the covers, and you had to get your headshots taken, and then you had to, upload it with your, oh gosh, they call it something. Now I can't think. You had to get everything uploaded so that they knew who you were as an author. You had to build an author page. You had to, listen, it was too much for Megan's little tiny brain. It was overwhelming. And so when I started and had to do the formatting alone on just one chapter, I was like, holy shit, this is going to take forever. Like, who does this? Who has time for this? I did not. No. So I went a route that was a lot more expensive, but it is so perfect, guys. It's so perfect. So that's what I really want to talk about. Coffee break. Hold, please. So we went the BookBaby route. Now, in researching the BookBaby route, I realized it's going to cost not as much as I anticipated it would cost, but not cheap. I'm not gonna bullshit you guys. Stuff like self-publishing can cost anywhere from, I don't know, $8,000 to $10,000 up to $30,000, just depending on what you want to do with it. Now, I could have went a cheaper route. I didn't have to order 1,200 books. I didn't have to do that. But I'm going to tell you my secret on why I did what I did and how I made this work. So even though I was making pretty good money at the time, that's still a really big venture to just throw money at. And this was all in the mix of COVID. Like, we're having a fucking pandemic right now. And even though I make good money, my husband lost his job. My now husband lost his job. He just had back surgery. There's a lot that goes into this, and I had to be smart. So I thought to myself, my little seller and marketing brain here said, why don't we take pre-orders and use the money from the pre-orders to pay for the book? I was like, let's just try to sell like 100 pre-orders, because if I can sell 100, that gives me, $2,000, $2,500 to put towards this book, and that'll help me. I might be able to come up with the rest down the road. And that was like a good plan. So we released it in May, sold 100 copies in 3 hours. I don't even know what happened. So we released another 100 copies, sold another 100 copies in less than 3 days. So I was like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. I took the money from the pre-orders that we had and I started the process. I put down a down payment on it and I uploaded everything. I got everything done. And where you have to start is the editing. So editing is expensive. I don't care if you know somebody who can proofread your book. I don't care if you know an editor. Go spend the money because it's going to be worth it. You don't want to come back with your book all said and done, ready to be out there for the world, and then your editing sucks. If this book is going to be out there for the world, I need it to look perfect, okay? So I use that money for the editing. Editing was very expensive, but my editor was awesome. BookBaby provided editors for me. They saw that my book wanted to be in blog format and they used that to their advantage. They didn't take away my voice, which is exactly what I was so scared of, and they did it so well. After the editing was done, we were continuing to take pre-orders. Here at this point, we had hit 500 sales in pre-orders. So now I can start the process of paying for the design, and now I can start this process of paying for the rest of it. Suddenly we spiked. I don't know how. My husband was like, if you can sell 500 bucks, you can sell 750. And I was like, okay. So we sold 750 books at the 3-month mark. What I will tell you is at the 3-month mark was when I got the final payment off to off to BookBaby. Everything was set in stone. And then I was like, I don't know that we're going to have enough books. So we decided to invest in a little more to have more. And then whatever we don't sell, we're going to donate to a local women's shelter, domestic abuse shelter, also some LGBT centers. So really cool stuff. So at 2 days shy of the 4-month mark, we hit $23,000 in pre-orders. It's so crazy. It's crazy for me to talk about it. It's crazy for me to even remotely think that this is real, because it's just not. This shit doesn't happen to me, okay? Just 2 days ago, they showed up in the mail, and man, I just couldn't be happier. I'm just like, look at this. Okay. They designed my cover. Literally, BookBaby asks when you do your cover, like, what do you want it to look like? I said I wanted it to stand out. I wanted it to be one of the bunch of books that you pull because of the awesome simplicity of it, but it stands out. And I wanted it to be a rainbow. Bam! Look it. I'm going to tell you how pandemic this is. We took my headshot as a selfie in my backyard. The name of the game. This is what I'm talking about as far as formatting. If you upload your manuscript to Amazon and you want to go the cheap route, the free route, dude, do it. I'm so proud of you for making a book. For real, do it. But this is what they won't do for you. They won't format it. I signed this one. They won't format it. And what formatting means is literally what you're seeing. You're seeing these really, you're seeing, the chapters laid out. And when you get to the chapters, what's really awesome here, let me see if I can find one, is they formatted the chapters so well too. So without formatting, your book would just go from, like, see how this chapter ends and this begins? Your book would just go from here and then start the next chapter. There'd be no chapters. So when I talk about formatting and why it's so awesome, how did I go from chapter to chapter? That was weird. Oh, okay. But isn't this cool? It's all formatted correctly. So anyway, the books came yesterday, or 2 days ago, 80 boxes showed up. I'm pretty sure UPS hates me. I'm on their blacklist at this point. But the books showed up. I'm so freaking happy with this. They have done such an amazing job. They took my idea in my little tiny brain and put it to life. And, here's the shit too. I'm sure it could be done better with a publisher, but the fact of the matter is I did it by myself. I did it so much by myself that I designed it, I wrote it. It's my idea. It's so cool to see this envision coming to life. It's just, man, it's good. It's a good feeling. It's such a good feeling, and it's crazy to me to see where this has gone. And I couldn't have done it without BookBaby. They saved me so much time, so much energy. And this is not like a advertisement for BookBaby. This is literally because so many of you have asked. So many of you have asked me, how did you do this? How did you sell that many? I'm in a lot of groups on Facebook that have to do with self-publishing help and indie authors. And there's so many people in there who, post their stuff to be proud of. And then I also post my stuff to be proud of. And people are like, hold on. How did you do that? And it's so crazy to me to see authors already, bestsellers, say whoa, My book has now sold millions of copies, but there is no way I ever got close to the pre-orders you did. And even they want to know how I did it. You put your mind to something and you can do it. And that's what this book is about. Oh my God, guys, I'm just so happy with this. This is such a cool thing. Such a cool thing. And I cannot wait to get it out to the world. And I'm very excited. I'm very excited. So if you haven't ordered, go to meganbesler.com. You can order my memoir, my story. Let me just read the back of this, because this, when I told you these editors were good, this is what they came up with. This is great. They took a little quote from my book. It says, "Long story short, I survived, and I did so with my integrity. I can sleep well at night knowing I fought long and hard in the right way. Fighting to let you know that you can no longer win over me. No, sir, the final win was mine." So it says Megan Besler, that's a little quote. And then they write a little bit about this, and it just nails it. It nails it, guys. It nails it. They did such a good job. Told in a way we can all understand, a struggling woman shares her stories regarding a severely tragic divorce and fighting to gain her identity back after the abuse continued. Speaking openly about her depression, anxiety, loss associated with death, and abandonment, this publishing of her blogs has not only helped people in their own life struggles, but has helped transform their lives right along with reading how she was able to transform hers. A truly interesting self-help book, unlike anything on the market. And then it goes through some quotes from people who actually have reviewed and read my blogs. Anthony from Kansas City says, "Megan is on a mission to move mountains. She will be someone who changes the world." Katie from New York says, "Her blogs saved my life." Norma from North Carolina says, "I have followed Megan for many years, and seeing her growth has helped me so much in my own life struggles." Garrett from Nebraska says, "These blogs are the real deal. As someone who struggled for far too long, this book has helped me more than anything, because this is a real story and not some script." Jennifer from Rhode Island says, "Megan has honestly helped me in so many ways, I can't even begin to put it into words." And then at the bottom, it has my website. It has the barcode that I didn't have to apply for. Megan Besler is a blogger and an influencer via social media with a completely organic following. She has gained her following by being very open and honest about life's struggles and coming forward with the abuse she suffered from a previous marriage. You can find her at meganbesler.com. Guys, go check it out. If anybody has any questions, let me know. The Amazon release is very soon, and I can't wait to show this to the world and get everybody ready for some massive F-bombs thrown into a book. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to talk. I put my link to order the book in the caption of the video. I also put the link for Book Baby into the caption of the video. I can refer people to Book Baby, save you a little bit of money. Go.